It's something that is really in the collective consciousness right now. And he, for me, was somebody that I obviously just admired and loved, like so many, and saw that he was able to tap in and channel his gifts, and to see that he wasn't able to navigate his way out of the mind. I'm just so curious to know, if it's astute, to know how the transition was and where he's at now.
Okay. All right, let's see. There is nothing more to life than life itself. That's the way I see it now. I see that life is just life. It's just to be. It's just to experience. It's just to laugh and engage each other in wondrous moments of joy and appreciation. There is nothing more. The accumulation of wealth is the illusion. The accumulation of stuff is the distraction. That's the way I see it. It's just a ridiculous side of who we are that keeps us so limited in that physical experience. I know, because I just left there. I know because I couldn't take the redundancy in life any longer. I couldn't take trying to be me, trying to be authentic in a state of consciousness that is in such a state of disarray. That's the way I'll say it, that the integrity of who we are as souls is so lost in our desire to be accepted as human beings that we cannot see through it, and we lose ourselves in it, and we get lost in it. And I felt it constantly tugging on me. I felt it constantly pulling on me, people begging me, asking me to be something other than what I was, and I couldn't give in, and I fought it the whole way. I had to be who I knew myself to be, even if it didn't seem to fit in what everybody else said I should be as far as the human being that I should be. I must say that it's difficult for us, those that know who we are, to exist in a society that is crawling with people who are so inconsistent with their own authentic nature. I can say it in other words, but I'll be polite here. I would say that there are so many people lost in the greed, lost in the illiteracy of the human interpretation of what it means to be alive. I would say that so many of the human beings walking around the earth now are barely alive. That's the way I would say it. I see them as walking zombies. That's how I see you all now. I see you all as lost in logic, which keeps you so far from your heart, from compassion and gratitude and appreciation for life. It's as if you're walking through this human experience without any of the humanness. What was the point of coming if we weren't going to feel it all? If we weren't going to allow ourselves to experience it all? Why would we limit ourselves in such restrictive ways? I don't understand it. I never understood it, and I never could, and I never wanted to. I didn't really want to know why you all gave over to this ridiculous, surreal interpretation of what we are capable of being. It just seemed so limited to me, so what else was I to do but make fun of it, but to laugh at it and realize that it's all you could do with your fears and your uncertainties. How could you possibly find a more magnificent way of experiencing life? So what am I to say here today? What am I to say to inspire you all to live more fully? How can I be one to inspire? I would say that I want to. I want to be inspirational. I want to say, give it the good fight. I want to say, give it your all. But I cannot say that this life created in the way it is now, the way people, human beings are existing, is worth the good fight. It's not. Give up on the way people are giving. That's what the way people are living. Give up on that societal and the structure and the limitations that it brings to our innate expansive nature. I say, walk away from it, turn away from it in every aspect of your experience. Detach from what is, from what everybody else is giving their energy over to. For it's all just keeping you down. Don't try to fit in. Don't try to be a part of this society that treats that treats each other as insignificant. Don't you see the ridiculousness of this? We're supposed to be working towards a common goal, and yet we're telling individuals to fight for their individuality, to fight to be above another or better than another. How does humanity not see how ridiculous that is? How can we continue in this direction? I would say that what I'm experiencing is a wave of compassion that is blowing me over, that is elevating me. That's what I want to say is thank you. Thank you all for all of the love that you've shown, all of the compassion that you've sent out to my human experience. I feel it. I feel it to the point where it lifted me beyond my negativity. That's what I would say. And that's a place that not many people thought I'd ever get. I didn't want to be negative. I tried hard to oppose that. But my negativity came from my understanding that this isn't the way we were meant to be. That this isn't how we were meant to treat each other. That there had to be more love, there had to be more joy, there had to be more laughter. And when you know something so certainly, in your heart of hearts, when you know it in the deepest core of your beingness, and everybody outside of you is telling you to get serious, to get straight, to straighten up and align with what is already existing in the physical. Well, what are you to do? What are you to do with your true nature, with who you really are? How do you keep that down? How do you hold that in? How do you allow anybody else in this human experience to dictate who you should be? I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking to each and every one of you. Don't do it. Don't give up who you truly are to appease some state of being that was defined by somebody else that doesn't know you at all. You can't continue to follow these restrictive ways of living because some intellectually inclined human egos think they know how people are supposed to be. You all know me as the loving and joyful one, but did you know I had that kind of angst and anxiety inside of me? Did you know I had this resentment toward humanity in the way that it is just giving in to this negative, self-destructive way of being? That's what I see. If you're willing to accept what is in this world right now, then you are creating more of the same. That's what I want to say. It's up to you. You're there right now. If you don't do the work, who's going to? I did my job. I brought joy. I brought laughter. I did my part. And all you who think I left too soon, well, let's take a tally and see how many people you've made feel as good as I have in my life. I've done my job. We're here to bring joy. We're here to bring each other a sense of connectedness, oneness, and unity. And I could only do so much as the human being that I was. I gave my effort everywhere that I could. I did what I could with what I had to work with, and that's what I want people to know. It's not so easy on the inside. What you see on the outside is never the full story, people. Never the full story. And I know that. I always knew that. I knew I had to do what I could do. And I also knew that when it was my time, I had to go in a big way. It's something I knew. How do I know that? I don't know. You don't know. You know there are things you know about who you are and what you need to be or do that you don't know how or why. I could give you a million logical reasons why I did what I did. But I'm not going to. I don't want to justify or validate any intellectual interpretation of the inclination of my soul. I just want you all to know that this is my choice. This is what I felt I needed to do as the soul that I was having the experience that I am. That this is my way of getting your attention. and of bringing your attention to the pain that's going on in this society because of the rigidity of the structure of this society. It's got to change. There needs to be flexibility. There needs to be freedom for people to be who they know they are here to be, not what everybody else thinks they should be, for whatever other reason. This isn't about that. This is about who we are and who we came to be, and that's where we need to focus. So wake up, people. Don't miss another minute of this glorious experience, losing yourself in some egotistical interpretation of what you think would make you look good to others. Find out what makes you feel good to others and then be that. That's what I would say. Yes, I did my part. I knew what made me feel like I was being who I was here to be, and I did it as often as I could. Unfortunately, that human aspect of me continually questioned if it was enough. I thought I'd make a bigger wave. I thought I'd have a bigger impact on the direction this society took. I thought I really could change the world. I really thought I can help people find compassion in their hearts and a sense of connection between all human beings. I kept trying and trying to reach people in different ways, in whatever way that I could. And I guess what I wanted was the validation in some human way, where I could say, well, yeah, I did that. Look, that society changed because of me. I couldn't see it. Oh, yes, now I see it. Now I see it in a big way. I did more than my share. I'll say that now. Isn't it? Isn't it sad that my humanness wouldn't allow me to recognize that? And that humanness that I'm speaking of is the part of me that was inundated with this intellectual interpretation of what it meant to be successful, of what it meant to be appreciated, of what it meant to bring value. Oh, it's all there. It's so inconsistent what we interpret as true wealth. I knew I felt it every time I brought joy to somebody. I knew in that moment I was worth more than any other human being alive. Why couldn't that be enough for the human part of me? I felt it in my soul. I felt the oneness and the unity. It couldn't be enough because logic wouldn't let it. Because there's a pervasive intellectual energy in this society now that is trying desperately to remain in control, to remain the director of the human experience. But what I say is that's not going to be. That they might as well put down their weapons now, for they've already lost the battle. I wish I could have seen in my physicality what I see now in spirit, which is an inclination in the human collective to be free of all that I am now free of. To be free from this oppressive way of existing that limits our ability to be joy. Why can't we just be joy? Why is it not serious enough? Why is it not practical enough? Why can't we create a society that allows that to be more than enough? To be all that we need? Why do people have to feel that they have to put their gifts to the side and get serious first and maybe find some spare time to play with their gifts? Why does anyone think that's the way we intended to be here as human beings? I can only say, I can only hope that what I see in the energy is true, that what I see in the deeper parts of souls that are in the human experience is that desire to change the way we live, to change what we allow to affect how we are, who we are. I can say that it is a wondrous journey, no matter what they say. No matter what they say about the way I left this physical body. There was no one pointing a finger at me saying, go back, you did this all wrong. There was no one there saying, you're going to have to sit in darkness for a while and be punished for giving up. It was more love than I ever expected to be engaging. It was a love that said, you did it all right. Where a plague in my mind was that judgment that I was doing it all wrong. Isn't it something that we create these minds? That we are not born with those judgments. We take them on, and then we put them on ourselves. And the first thing I got to experience was freedom from that. Freedom from being judged as not living the way I'm supposed to be living, as not being who I'm supposed to be being, as not acting the way I'm supposed to be acting. The freedom that I am exactly who I am, who I'm meant to be. And that I am perfectly embraced as complete and whole in who I am. And that's what this energy did for me. I was received with an overwhelming sense of compassion and gratitude. I want you to know that. Compassion for my inability to find this truth through the logic that confused me while I was there. And gratitude for the joy I allowed so many to experience. For I see now how little joy there is in this life, and how people actually feel that they're not entitled to it, that they're only entitled to tiny little doses of it every once in a while. Well, I'll tell you something. It's necessary for your livelihood. It's necessary for your health and well-being. We need to laugh often, daily, if not in every moment. Learn from my life. What can you learn from my life? That's what people want to know. What can we learn from his life? Well, I guess I would say there are two things you can learn from my life. One is how important it is to laugh. How important it is to be true to the side of you inside that knows that laughter is what life is all about. And the other is the obvious one, isn't it? It's what all you intellectuals are saying, that you just can't judge a person from what you see on the outside. It's easy to create a facade in this environment that people will buy into because they want to buy into it. Because it fits. Because it looks accommodating. I do not want you to think that I walked around this world with a continual sense of loss or a void inside of me. It came in waves. I had wondrous experiences, and I want you all to know that. There is so much to this human experience I embraced, that I allowed myself to be involved in for the way that it made me feel alive. And I loved that. I loved when I was giving. I loved when I was helping. I loved when I was making people laugh. I loved how it made me feel so alive. And I wished I could have just been that in every second of every day. But you know this life, it doesn't let you. It doesn't let you stay there. So my inspirational message here today is laugh. Let yourself laugh. Remind yourself of how important it is to find joy in this. Remind yourself that there's nothing more important. Nothing more important than letting yourself be who you know you are, regardless of what others tell you you should be. It seems like the theme of the moment in the human experience right now. So honor it. I would say that I've done my part. I've made my laughter available to everyone. I'm not taking it with me, I'm leaving it with you. I'm allowing each of you to tap into my joy whenever you feel like it, to lift your spirits and to remind you not to take it so seriously. It's just life. And there'll be other lives. So let yourself have fun with it. Okay.
Much, Kim, for calling in with that question and bringing us to connect to that energy that definitely was weighing on so many hearts and minds right now in the collective. He's such a beautiful energy and soul and had such an amazing expression in our journey and really did come into the homes of so many. I know my children and I so many times have laughed to his spirit. So thank you, Kim, for that awesome question.
Oh, absolutely. Can I ask one other thing to Robin?
Yeah, I guess, sure, yeah.
Okay. My only question, because I cannot begin to express my gratitude for who you were, who you are. Amazing message of inspiration, and and maybe we can attest to this later, but does he want to have us get this information out to anybody specifically, or does he have a specific message for anyone to hear this?
No, dear, I am one with all now, and I appreciate your your effort to try and connect me in that way. But as you know, there are not many that can hear this yet, so I'm just going to leave it with you and let you all ponder it and share it as you feel necessary.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you, guys.
And moving us through that day. Of course. Have a beautiful.
Thanks, Kim. Yes, Leah. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm good. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hi, Ashley.